situation in downtown Chattanooga in the early 80s was, I guess in one word, dismal.
There was a sense that the city was a city that locked up at 4:30 in the afternoon and reopened the next day at about 8:30.
There wasn't anything going on, and the thought crossed my mind, this community's going down the tubes.
And I swear you could have put a cannon out on either side of Broad Street and fired a salvo down through there and you'd never hurt anybody.
The most important thing about us at that point, in my opinion, was that we lost confidence in ourselves. We just didn't think we could do anything.
Chattanooga's much-celebrated Renaissance was born in part in the early 1980s with a citizens group charged with rethinking the waterfront along the Tennessee River. Their work culminated in the Tennessee River Park Master Plan, an ambitious, some said audacious, vision for the redevelopment of 22 miles of Tennessee riverfront, including the signature revitalization of Ross's Landing, Chattanooga's birthplace. The plan was done. The question was, who would be responsible for making it happen?
The Tennessee River Park Master Plan, in fact, said there should be a nonprofit entity created to help work this plan. The name of the company, River City, was because our focus was to be not only on the river, but on the city and the downtown in general.
River and city, their fortunes intertwined and interdependent. In May 1986, the River City Company was chartered, accepting the task of implementing the master plan. Chattanooga philanthropist Jack Lupton and the Lyndhurst Foundation led the way in raising more than $12 million to capitalize the company so it could assemble land and fund design. As with the process that led to River City's creation, the company's leadership represented the diversity of Chattanooga and its citizens.
It was phenomenal because you had some of the city's tip-top, most prominent, most powerful corporate leaders. You had someone from a labor union, you had people from the black community, and you had people who had worked for years in the nonprofit community. They were all sitting at the table in one room at one time talking about the city's future. And what better topic can you have for people like that to be working on?
For River City, the future was embedded in the pages of the plan, and it gave the company a very sharp focus.
River City was an organization that was an inch wide and a mile deep. We got up every day with a clear understanding of where we worked and what we were supposed to do. The two primary objectives at the time were the Riverwalk and the aquarium. And 95% of our waking hours were spent trying to promote those two pieces of the Tennessee River Park Master Plan.
No aspect of the master plan was more exciting or more daunting than the construction of the world's largest freshwater aquarium at Ross's Landing. River City was charged with assembling the land, finding the architect, and building community support for an idea that many at the time thought was outlandish.
As you know, whenever you're a pioneer and you're on your way to a new land, there are a lot of tombstones along the way. First guys in usually get hit, and somewhere along the line it becomes less and less tombstones, and the successes occur. But someone has to be first one in, and it was River City for the longest.
You know, so many of these things were considered ridiculous when they were first proposed. You know, I wouldn't go anywhere when we were launching the aquarium that people wouldn't say, nobody's coming to Chattanooga for an aquarium.
Projected to attract 650,000 visitors in its first year, the Tennessee Aquarium drew 1.5 million people. Chattanooga never looked back, and the River City Company kept moving forward, encouraging other developers to step forward and tackle other sites downtown. But through it all, quality was a cornerstone. River City asked developers to submit their designs for review by the Urban Design Studio. While not always popular, the process was instrumental in establishing and sustaining the quality of Chattanooga's downtown redevelopment. The Residence Inn on the former Kirkman High School property is a case in point.
John McKibben, who called and wanted to build a Residence Inn. And we said, well, John, we would love to have a Residence Inn, but we don't want a standard Residence Inn. If you are willing to go through the design studio and go through their design process, we'd love to have you. A year later, he comes in and he says, that's the best hotel in my entire chain. He said, I make more money out of it. I'm prouder of it. I show it to more people than any hotel I've ever done.
In the late 90s, River City refocused, setting its sights on the recruitment of residents to downtown Chattanooga. Essential to the strategy was elementary education and high-quality neighborhood schools. The county was planning to build one new school, Brown Academy, but River City felt a second school would help attract more young families and help create elementary schools of choice for downtown workers. Once again, River City brought private dollars to help make Battle Academy happen.
Well, I was approached about a second elementary school to be associated with UTC. And I said, you know, guys, that's a great idea, but we've got all we can carry. 90 days later, some of the leadership in this community felt so strongly about a second elementary school for downtown Chattanooga. The money was raised privately, $8.5 million to build that school. The county didn't put any construction money in it. We operate it now and continue to operate it, but it was built with private money and given to the county school system.
And we see today that they're all both quality schools and have accomplished everything they wanted, including bringing families and young kids back to the downtown.
Elected mayor of Chattanooga in 2001, Bob Corker was determined to put a finishing flourish on the riverfront redevelopment begun 2 decades earlier. Once again, River City's public-private platform was the place where the work got done.
We came up with this 21st century waterfront that was announced at my first State of the City meeting. And without River City, there was absolutely no way it could have happened.
We took the best lessons that we had learned in how to get things done from the last 20 years, and it was implemented then. We had unbelievable designers, we had unbelievable folks at City Hall working on it, we had an unbelievable community. And as a result, we have an unbelievable project down there, unlike any city could have ever done at that point in time.
The Riverwalk, the aquarium, an elementary school, a multiplex cinema, a residential resurgence, fabulous public spaces. Over 25 years, the River City Company has left an indelible mark on Chattanooga and has helped steward an urban revitalization that has become a model for mid-sized cities. But the work isn't done.
I grew up in downtown Chattanooga, so I remember as a child on Saturday the treat was to come with my mother and grandmother and go shopping in all the department stores in downtown Chattanooga. That element is not to the level it needs to be, and I think that River City's committed to turning that around.
People will get frustrated that things aren't moving quicker, but it continues to be difficult to do downtown development work, and we just need to remember that.
Building a great city takes forever, but Chattanoogans have shown their unique ability to work together to accomplish extraordinary objectives.
So what we're working on now is really trying to get the community back engaged. I mean, they've been able to have the benefit of some great things happening downtown without having to financially contribute. But I think that it's time for the community to step up and the business of the community to step up and participate in some of these things.
There's something special about our community. There's a sense of giving, a sense of compassion, a sense of shared community values that exist in this community that somehow or another has been able to come together and make things like the River City Company function in a way that makes sense for our community.
That's always been the mantra. That's always been the focus of River City. Identify the opportunity, bring the resources to the table to spur and encourage private development of projects. And when the project should be a public-private partnership, to bring all of the public-private sectors together for that particular project.
When I think about River City, I think about the city and the county have been helpers, but it's been driven by the private sector.
You know, nobody had any little private angle. I didn't have a little county angle, and the mayor didn't have a little city angle, and the private sector didn't have a little business angle. We all had one angle, and that was to do something for Chattanooga. And by George, it worked.
25 years later, it's still working. An extraordinarily effective collaboration between Chattanooga's public and private partners. Still based on the premise that an attractive, livable city is a powerful economic development tool, and still committed to building a great downtown where people can live, work, and play.